Hey ladies, I hope you're doing well today. At our class session on Tuesday night, I just left there feeling like there was something that we just didn't cover, that something just wasn't said, and it's been bothering me. It bothered me all that night, it bothered me all throughout yesterday, and I just kept thinking and praying and thinking and praying and going, what is it, God? What is it that just didn't happen? And I feel that the Holy Spirit has given me something to say, and I hope that it encourages you, and I hope that it inspires you today. See, I think the problems that we have in our marriage, from big to little, all happen because we're still trying to be in control of our marriage. We're still trying to control what it looks like. We're still trying to control what our husbands do or what we do, and we're trying to figure it all out in our own strength. I know you all have a heart for your husbands. I know you have all have a heart to really want to be great wives. And can I just encourage you and say that you already are. God's already created you that way. You just have to stop trying to figure out what it looks like and ask Him to show you. And trust that the God that created the universe can handle it. He knows what's going on with you. He knows your heart. And He knows what's going on with your husbands too. And He just needs you to let Him be in control. Our husbands don't always know what they're doing. Sometimes we don't even know what we're doing. But God always does. And that's where we can find the joy in our marriages, no matter how frustrating it may be, no matter how difficult it may be, no matter how overwhelming our schedules, no matter how unwilling our husbands might want to be, no matter how tired they are, no matter how tired we are, it doesn't matter. We can just let go of all that and say, okay, God, I want to be that loving, submissive, biblical, respect-filled, forgiving and intimate wife that you created me to be. And I'm going to trust that you're going to show me what that's going to look like from this moment forward. And I'm going to stop trying to figure it all out all by myself. A lot of what we shared in class were worries. I may plan all these things, but what if my husband doesn't want to come home and do it? Or in the past, I have planned things and he just doesn't want to, or he's too tired, or our schedules don't mesh, or all kinds of things. And I'm not trying to diminish any of that. All I'm saying is that now it's time to let God work that out for you. In the meantime, you just joyfully walk through your marriage, trial or no trial. There's going to be days when things aren't good. We're told we're going to have trials in this life, including in our marriage. Our husbands aren't perfect. We aren't perfect. We are sin-filled creatures that are going to have to come together and figure it out, despite all the sin that is on us and in us and around us, right? But when we try to figure out in our own strength and our own ways, that's when we start getting all weirded out and conflicted and confused and worried. But I just want to encourage you that when we let it go, when we decide, okay, I can't figure out my marriage on my own. I certainly can't figure out my husband. I can't even figure out how I need to be. But I know that God can. And when I commit to praying for my marriage and commit to praying for my husband and praying for myself, then we can let go of all those worries. We can let go of everything and say, okay, it's going to be okay. Really, it's going to be okay. And I feel like in our class, we just didn't get to that part. We just didn't really cover that. And I didn't want you to leave feeling discouraged and overwhelmed about your marriages. There's a couple scriptures that I looked up about our marriages, and I'm just going to pull them out real quick here. And one of them is this, that God does give us the desires of our hearts. And Psalm 37 says this. It says, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord, and He will do this. He will make your cause shine like the dawn, and the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. And again, that's Psalm 37, verses 4 through 6. Commit your way to the Lord first. Say, okay, God, I'm giving it to you. Then He will give you the desires of your heart. He sees the injustices that might be happening in your marriage. He will make them shine like the noonday sun. He will make them shine like the dawn. That's pretty bright. He'll make them known to your husband. It will work out. Right? Then He also says this. In Isaiah 41:10, He says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. He's here with us, ladies. He's here. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to be down about. There's nothing to be dismayed about. Our marriages may not look like what we want to look like what we want them to look like, but God can rectify that. We just have to ask him in and allow him to do that. One more thing is this. I want you to remember that God does work all things for the good of those who love him, according to Romans 8:28. I know I've talked about that verse a couple times, but it is so applicable even in our marriages. We've had trials. My marriage has had trials. Your marriage has trial, but God's going to use that to grow you closer together if you will allow him to do that. God's going to use it to strengthen you if you will allow him to do that. God will use it to educate your children and you of how to help them have a marriage that follows God from the beginning. I just want to encourage you, ladies, that we can have joy in our marriage. We can, even when things are difficult, even when things are unsure, even when we're just not quite sure what's going on. Just let God be in control. And that's how we cultivate peace in our marriage. That's how we find that joy. This week I've asked you to plan in some time with your husbands, and I know some of you are just kind of overwhelmed with, I don't even know what to plan, or what if I plan something and he's, not available or doesn't want to. Can I just say this? Start with God first and say, okay, God, I'm going to give it up to you. I really want some time with my husband. You know I need it. Will you please help me plan some time? And will you please soften my husband's heart to be available? Start there, trusting that God will work it out. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And while I was writing this up, I was listening on my phone to some music, and one of the songs that I was listening to that just jumped out for me to share with you was by the Sidewalk Prophets, and it's called It Just Might Change Your Life. If you don't know the song, look it up on YouTube, or go to iTunes and listen to it, or I'll bring it and we can listen to it in class if I can figure out how to get off my phone. But can I just encourage you, ladies, just let go in this area. Let God take over, and let his promises become truth for you. I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks.